Hello and welcome to the Hotkeys podcast. This is the show where we talk about everything pop culture and random in the world. I'm your host Mick, and I'm joined by
Jona,
Will,
and Landon Browning.
Welcome, guys. It's February 17th, 2020.
we're all sick and dying over here.
Yep.
coronavirus.
It's got us. Finally made its way to the Arctic.
We thought we were safe.
Someone brought it back.
Dave.
Dave
Dave
sent a
intern.
package to us with a bat cake, contaminated with the coronavirus.
Wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
That's how bad he wants us to stop the show. Is that he'll kill us all off. So
You can't silence us, Dave.
you knew that, right, Jonah? That Dave wants us to stop.
That's what I heard,
Yeah.
man. Because you're not here running the show anymore.
Yeah. He can't control it.
So, Jonah, do you have
You
something
get
to
some
say
hate
to Dave?
mail.
No, I don't have anything to say
You
today.
don't have anything?
Wait,
You guys are cool.
I missed something?
No.
Okay. So, what happened last week? The Oscars?
Oh man.
That's something we could talk about.
A win for the people. A Parasite taking home Best Picture. It's about time. It's about time. Parasite.
10 years since
Right.
the last foreign film, right?
No,
First
never.
time.
Never.
I thought. Wait, Slumdog didn't win?
No, Slumdog's not a foreign film.
No, it's not.
It's not? I thought that counted as a foreign film.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No.
Never mind.
Well, show's over.
Well, thanks for coming on, guys. Appreciate it. You can find us on.
No, yeah, I think yeah, I don't know, because Slumdog that did win, but they kept everywhere I was reading said it was the first foreign film, though.
Yeah,
So I don't know what
Parasite.
So I don't know what the difference between is that movie in English or something, or is it in?
I think it is
It's
English.
It's in English, but I think it's more like. Well,
If it's
maybe
in
not.
English, that's probably why it doesn't
Yeah,
count.
it has apparently. One
So
of
what's
the
considered foreign? Like, I mean,
foreign?
it's like
I think it's
a
usually-
British-made movie. That
Well, I think it's usually when it comes from like say it's like a English movie, so it comes from like it's not Paramount or something like that. It's like a foreign
A foreign like distributor. or, like-
entity.
so. That's what makes
So like
it.
the Korean, because I think during their acceptance speeches or whatever, they were talking about how Korean Hollywood or whatever. So I assume it was because it was a movie made by.
It has to come from
Yeah.
outside the Hollywood. Makes sense.
okay.
But yeah, Parasite, international film. I think the movie won 4 Oscars total. Director, international film,
Best foreign.
Be-
Best Picture.
and then there was one more.
Best original screenplay.
Screenplay.
Oh, yep, that's right. Best original screenplay. Which, yeah, I haven't seen 1917. I still need to see it, so I can't really comment on whether it was a right win or not. But I really enjoyed Parasite.
Yeah, I was surprised that it won. I thought 1917 was definitely the favorite going into it, and I thought Parasite could be the underdog that would win. And I'm not disappointed that it won. They're both really good movies. They're both completely different, though.
I know Michael has a different opinion on the matter.
Makes
See, I think you guys are wrong because Slumdog Millionaire says it's originated in India and the United Kingdom.
Oh, United Kingdom.
Because I heard
But
that
did it win? It didn't win Best Picture, did it?
yeah,
yeah.
it won Best Picture. I
Oh.
believe.
it beat The Dark Knight. Yeah, I think what it was is Parasite was the first in like over 10 years to win Best Picture as a foreign film.
Dude, everywhere I was reading.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and just stick with my story.
No, I was reading that.
Because if there's anything I'm good at on this
Yeah.
podcast, it's
well,
pretending
I
I'm right.
read. My daughter told me.
Am I going to cite my sources? No.
Do you have any sort of
IMDb.
IMDb?
I already said this to you guys, I think yesterday when we were talking about the Oscars and the awards. You can't really compare. I haven't seen Parasite and I haven't seen 1917.
Oh.
Okay.
I haven't seen either movie, but here's my hot take.
But I'll
Here's
go
my
back.
1970.
Okay, all right.
I'll back to the
gosh.
past
All right.
and say some things like a movie like Dunkirk
Oh no.
compared to a movie like La La Land, you can't compare who's the better director because Dunkirk was just a completely massive undertaking as opposed to shutting down a freeway in LA and having people dancing on cars.
I am gearing up for an hour argument again.
No, we don't have time for
to
that.
having a whole navy on a windy day, stormy day where you're running out of light. It's just completely
With
different.
like World War II era everything.
Right. And so those type of things were like, well, what was a better direction? Well, I know which one was harder to do. And so those type of things, or even like Best Picture. So La La Land with musicals, as far as like a story goes, you accept. So say you got two characters, and then you
La La Land didn't win though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Well,
I was waiting. I
It
was
won
waiting
for
for
like-
Jonah to slip up and
like
be like
30
"But
seconds.
I know, but what I'm saying, like-
La La Land didn't win.
but everyone was all like about oh my gosh, like they were freaking
It
out.
did win for like 30 seconds, right?
Right.
They had it
But like
just a
those type
glimpse.
of things, like I'm not saying it just to compare those two, but I'm saying like in general, like when you have completely different genre of movie, like with a musical, like the writing doesn't have to be as good because you can do character progression for one song. So
Well,
say
that
they like
explains cats.
say they hate each other at the beginning and then they do like a 5-second song and at the end of it they're making out and it's like, oh, that's the character, now they're in love. You accept that because it's a musical. You accept it because that's what they do in musicals a lot.
Musicals are dumb though, so
Okay, good musicals take a little while longer to develop.
What
Have
I'm-
you seen La La Land?
Yes, what I'm saying is,
Oh, I'm
what
surprised. You've
saying-
actually seen something.
I
you're
love
arguing against.
I love musicals. West Side Story is one of the best musicals of all time. I love West Side Story. I watch it all the time. But with musicals, you can get away with things because you accept it as, oh, that's the character development in a song. You know what I'm saying? Like
They can sum up a character development in a 2-minute song.
right.
Like
And-
a whole new world from Aladdin, you know.
Right. And you accept it. You accept it as, oh, well, that's what they're trying to do in the movie. So it's kind of like it's a musical. You go with it. If they did that in a movie where you had like 2 minutes of dialogue between two characters and then the next scene they're like, they just met and then in the next scene they're like dating and you're like, what? You'd be like, well, that moved really fast because it's easier to do that in a musical and be like,
Right.
here's a montage and now you're just going with it.
And a musical kind of implies a fairy tale umbrella to the story. So that also is like a subconscious, like, okay, like I can buy these people are in love after meeting
Right.
20 minutes ago.
And so all that to say is I just think with awards it's hard to like put movies, like how do you say which one's better when they're completely different films? You know what I'm saying?
I totally
that's where I
100%
think
what
it's
you're,
hard.
understand what you're saying. Like different genres have different like kind of almost struggles and different like some things are easier with a genre, some things are way more difficult with a genre, and it's really hard to compare them. I think that has a lot of merit, but I just wanted to say La La Land does character development a lot better.
Well, I'm saying that's fine.
Yeah.
I just think that it's they give passes to thing. It's easier for you to look over something.
Sure.
Whereas in another movie you can nitpick at things because you're like, the character development wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? When it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
harder to do because you're analyzing it more as in like, oh, that was too quick. Whereas in a musical you're like, oh, a new song. Oh, that's awesome. Like West Side Story does that all the time too. It's like they do a song and you're like, oh, okay, those two guys hate those guys, right? And it's already established between the song and there. Here comes the jets like a bat of hell, right? So,
yeah.
but those type of things, you're just like, okay, I'll just move on with it. The two characters fall in love. They saw each other. They sing together. They're in love now. Romeo and Juliet. Kind of, it just happens, and we're going on. We're moving, like at breakneck pace. Whereas if that happened in a movie, a war movie or Saving Private Ryan or something like that, you'd be like, I don't buy this.
You'd be like, whoa, like,
right.
Yeah. I agree with that. But I don't think that makes the movie any worse.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for me, if I'm looking at the merits of, it's the same thing I said with like,
okay.
if the merits of like a director or a writer, I'd be like, wow, it was a lot harder work for the writer to write something, say in Saving Private Ryan or, something like that, as opposed to we've got 3 minutes of dialogue, and then we have a 7-minute musical number, and then that moves the story along. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it's easier.
I think that could apply for like best director and stuff. I could say because
Right.
So are you trying to say like, oh, it matters how far you've come rather than where you end up? Does that make sense? So if something's way harder to do, then that matters more than what.
Well, how do you
what
define
ends up as the final
what
product?
defines the best director?
Well, that's what I'm
though?
saying. That's for me. What's hard is like when I say best director or best cinematography. When I'm like, even though I haven't seen it, but everything I hear about 1917 is like, man, what they did with that film and how they shot it is mind blowing. To me, that's like the difficulty of doing that and doing it well and doing something that's mind blowing, and then being like, wow, this Parasite, which I've heard is good, but it's kind of like, it's just kind of a unique story.
The way it's shot is pretty impressive.
But would you see? You've seen both of them.
I would say 1917 should have won Best Director.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I think just the way the Oscars work is like Best Director and Best Picture just kind of linked together for the most part. So. But
that's for me the why I don't like. I have a hard time with the Oscars because I'm like, when I think of best, I think of, well, what's harder? Like, who pulled something off that was at a higher degree of difficulty? As opposed to, and when you have different
it should be based on execution, in my opinion. It shouldn't just be based on difficulty. Like,
yeah.
Well, no, 100%. I know, but what I'm saying is,
I think those go hand in hand, though.
Like if I were to,
I would say it's equally hard to make something with a simple concept be exceptional.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
like Parasite's concept is like,
you could make Parasite have the same story and have it be stupid if you didn't execute it right. So it's like, like Dunkirk, you can fall or 1917, like. That is more of an achievement, like in directing and like cinematography and like an emotional storytelling. But like, it's most if you took away the way it was filmed and the way, the directing of it, like the story's pretty simple. Like there's not a lot of complex to it. The character development's all just kind of. I mean, there's weaker aspects to it than like Parasite with the story and the writing and stuff. Like there's almost no writing in 1917. Like,
I haven't seen 1917, but I agree with that on Dunkirk. It's hard to. Dunkirk does a fantastic job of like really putting you in the like a war scenario. Like, when I went to it the first time, it actually stressed me out.
Oh yeah, it's stressful when the boat's going down.
Oh gosh, I actually was like stressed like for the end of the movie because, and not just it stresses me out in movie going experience, like it affected like. Because I had some personal things going on, it made those things worse. I stressed about those things more because it's just such a stressful and such a suspenseful experience. And that's what it does an amazing job of. But I think Dunkirk, where it's weaker, is that I didn't appreciate any of the characters. Like, some of them are like, oh, yeah, cool. I guess this guy is running through, he's going through, they all have these journeys, right? They go to the boat, they go to, like, there's the plane. I like the one character, the only character stood out to me was the plane member. And then maybe on the boat when they're trying to sail back to Dunkirk. But there's not much actual character growth, development, all that kind of stuff. Parasite, on the other hand, it really handles its characters well. And there's a point in the movie, which is fantastic, where it's like, oh crap, things go to crap. And you can see these characters kind of, their true nature kind of weave together. Mm-hmm. And you can see them how they react. And it changes over time.
But with Dunkirk, they're not looking for, like, one of the main points of it is it's not looking to focus on the characters. Like, if you notice, every character looks the same, like all the actors, and that was done on purpose because Christopher Nolan wanted it to feel like these are all of us. Like, these people that went through this, they're, for the British people, right, to say this is all of us. These are our children, and kind of that was kind of the whole point in that aspect. It wasn't like, well, let me develop this character. I don't think they even mention a single name of any of the characters. I mean, I think they reference, the guy, Tom Hardy's character, they say his name, but I think a lot of the characters that are just like of the soldiers, they don't make references to their names because it's kind of like these are our children. And it's supposed to be done that way. And so I think they were going for a different thing. It wasn't like a character study. It was more of like you said, put you in that situation so you feel what they were feeling. And that aspect of at the end of the movie when the fathers come in their boats, the civilians come, it's like they're coming for their children. They're coming for their fellow countrymen, and I think it's kind of a whole different...
It's a different kind of story.
Right. It's not going for like, oh, this is the actor. That's why, Tom Hardy has his mask on almost the whole movie. You don't even realize it's him. They weren't really focused on that.
Yeah. More of an overall sense.
That kind of movie is more of a like an event for me. Like it's not like I wouldn't even like I liked the movie fine, but like I wouldn't even remotely consider that like best picture worthy at all. Like, and that's just the kind of like that's not the kind of movie I like. I'm looking for like that kind of
simple matter of preference. I think.
Yeah,
I just prefer movies with characters that I could relate to and that I could like. My biggest thing is I like to sympathize with characters. I like to.
Do you like character over the story being told?
It's hard because those two things really go hand in hand.
Well, and Dunkirk's more a historical. It's almost a documentary in aspects. Like it's it's covering a real life event.
A very very cinematic
documentary.
Like,
and I think it's effective in what it does. But like, I'd rather have like a my favorite kind of movies are like somewhat realistic tale like stories with a small amount of characters that go through like a kind of a personal journey, like, and it doesn't have to be super like the spectacle of it doesn't have to be super impressive. Like I think one of my favorite movies
sounds like you're describing 1917
and Dunkirk.
Gosh dang it.
One of your favorite movies?
Hell or High Water.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
Oh, that's a great movie.
There's only
it too.
Yeah, like it's that and that was nominated for Best Picture, but like that's not a very over the top movie at all.
No.
Like the complexity of shooting it, I'm sure it had a pretty small budget because there's not
probably
much.
Yeah.
And like, but
most of it probably went to Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, and even the story in itself is not overly unique or complex, but like the execution of it, the acting, and like.
Well, the same with No Country for Old Men.
Yeah,
the story itself is not a very complicated story. It's not necessarily shot uniquely or anything, but it's done well, and the characters are done well.
And the execution of it, like it's just
the thing about No Country for Old Men though is that the story, I think it is actually unique.
The way.
Well, no, I'm not saying
especially the themes in No Country for Old Men are unlike any other.
I'm not saying that's not unique. I'm just saying like if you look at the movie like as a map, like start point to end point, it's not like a very complex story.
Yeah,
I got so bored with that movie.
Really?
Yeah,
I was hooked the entire way.
I watched it when it came out, and everyone was freaking out about it, and I was like so bored during that movie. I never watched it again. Maybe I missed a lot of it.
See, I didn't.
You should rewatch.
The first time I watched it, I didn't like it. Yeah. On my second viewing, I liked it. I liked it better.
Yeah, because I was like, and this is boring. Why is everyone talking about this movie? I was like, it's so boring. But I was like, when are they gonna dance and sing?
When's the 2-minute character development supposed to happen?
I want to see him fall in love.
Yeah,
but it's like No Country for Old Men is an amazing movie, but it's different. It's depressing. It's a lot of it's not like any other movie that I've ever seen.
Was that the brothers that did that one?
Yeah,
Coen brothers. Yeah, I love the Coen brothers.
Yeah, they're good.
Brother, Where Art Thou?
I always get them and the Wachowskis.
The Wachowski sisters?
But yeah, now they're the
Russo brothers, right? You get them mixed up.
Yeah.
Are they involved in the new Matrix?
One
at
of
all?
them is.
Oh, the new Matrix.
I saw
it's like Laura, or what her name now is Laura or something like that.
Lana, I think.
Lana.
I saw screenshots from them filming it. I guess they started filming it already.
Yeah, I was like, is that John Wick? Is that the new John Wick movie? He's like on a motorcycle. I'm
right.
Like, oh my gosh, it's John Wick.
Well, that's like John Wick's another one too. Like I love the John Wick movies.
Oh yeah.
But like I would never consider them like best picture
right.
kind of quality.
Best
like
picture.
Why?
Just they're just action movies. It's the same like I like Mission Impossible, but like it's a different kind of like it's more like
that. Yeah,
they're fun, but like they're popcorn movies. Like there's not There's not an amount of depth.
I think that's
Like
a
Fast and
slippery.
Furious.
No, stop.
I think that's a slippery slope, though.
Like,
because there's a lot of action in good movies that have won Best Picture. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Well, here,
Oh, Landon, shut up.
I'm just
So,
kidding.
we'll go-
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So we'll take that point. So for me, it's like, how do you compare? So Best Director, right? So maybe you're like, it's not going to win Best Picture, but you're like, man, the choreography and the stuff they kind of did, or like have
In
you guys,
Dunkirk, or
no, in like John Wick movies. Okay,
I think it's like cinematography could definitely.
okay,
win it.
so but here I'm like, a movie like that, and then like a movie like what's one of those movies like Two Billboards or
Three Billboards.
Three Billboards, and what was the one that with Casey Affleck that he won Best Picture?
Oh,
Manchester by the
I
Sea.
want to watch that. I've heard that's
Okay,
a great movie.
So like a movie like that that's lower budget and it's kind of just more of a character. Like you've got the guy filming is just kind of like, okay, let's put the camera here and these two characters are talking, right? And then that movie gets nominated for Best Director or something like that. And then I'm like, there's like a John Wick or something that is like huge sets, like big action pieces, all these things that have to. That to me is like, well, how does one get like? Where's the line of that's a Best Director and that's not? Do you know what I'm saying? Like when I feel like one is more complex to do, where another one is like,
it's hard to direct people to like convey human emotion without explosive set pieces and stuff. Like, that's
well, yeah,
hard to
but
do
if you,
that,
I
too.
mean, but there's if you have, so say you have Tom Hanks or you've got Mel Gibson, like.
Name small, miss small.
You've got
Patriot.
an amazing actor, or Casey Affleck, who's a great actor, or something like that. Where then I'm like, well, do you give the director credit for that? Like, so Joaquin Phoenix, like wins Best Actor,
as he should have,
right? But he's an amazing actor. I know that you could say like the director like gave him ideas and stuff, but really it was kind of Joaquin Phoenix working with the script and getting into the character. So I'm like.
I think that's just up
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
up to you to judge. Like everybody watched Joker though and was like, that's Joaquin Phoenix. You know, like that was
Right.
Like,
but what I'm saying is, that's what I struggle with on the Oscars, is because I'm like, man, there's so many like movies that I'm like, man, that was great directing and that seemed really difficult to do, and they tend to go for, oh, the best director that wins is kind of like more an intimate thing. You know what I'm saying? Like. That's why I have a hard time with like the awards. It's like, well, what are you basing the best on?
I think it's hard. I think there's like at the end of the day, like it's kind of a
and at the end of the day, it's all subjective, which makes it
and it's an imperfect.
And,
if they had it right, like it should be like multiple categories. Like it should be a best comedy, best drama, best action. You know, like
that's what the Golden Globes has. Is it has two separate. It's like comedy, music.
Yeah, but
then nobody
weird.
cares. Nobody cares about the Golden Globes.
Theirs is weird because it has musical and comedy in one, and then it has drama. No, maybe it has. No, it does. But the problem is, like musical and comedy, you end up getting like the Irishman or something in there that you're like, how's this? Like things like that happen where they're like, oh, we have a better chance of winning here, so let's put it. You know, kind of they have a weird thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
So it's just, I don't know. That's why I kind of like,
That's what I say that like Dunkirk. I still like Dunkirk. Like I still think it's a good movie. So
well, I'm just saying like, I don't think Dunkirk. I'm not saying like was the best film of the year, but I'm like, how has Christopher Nolan not won for Best Director?
Yeah,
like,
no, I would agree with that.
That's one thing where I'm like, when you see like who wins, you're like, how did that guy win over Christopher Nolan?
Yeah.
Like when he's done Inception or even like Interstellar, stuff like that, where you're just like, what?
Yeah.
So those are things that I'm just like.
And it is also a popularity contest.
Or like
too.
that's what I'm saying.
And
like,
a hype contest.
Moonlight won.
Nobody cares about that movie.
And
literally nobody cares.
The only
about that
reason
movie.
that won is because of the themes of it. Like that's then when you're like, like they're not gonna give it. They don't give it to people who deserve it. Yeah. It's more so because of like, oh, this had a political statement.
Yep.
And let's give it to them. You know,
this was what was up against Moonlight in 2017. La La Land, Arrival, which Arrival's really good.
Yes.
Lion, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, which was the movie about the ladies in the astronaut program.
Yeah.
Hacksaw Ridge, which I haven't seen, but I've heard
That's
really good.
That's really good.
Manchester by the Sea, which I've heard is really good as well, and then Fences, which I think Denzel Washington.
Yeah, that one's really good.
So like, I mean,
did he direct that?
But that movie is just like.
I mean, it's basically just the play, right?
It is, but it's like that movie is just like they do like 10-minute long scenes of just dialogue, and it's insane.
So Landon would love that.
Probably.
No, it's really good. It's like Denzel and Viola Davis, like, and they're just acting. That she won, I think, for that. She won the Oscar for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like them just acting the heck out of the movie. It's like insane.
But I would say like Moonlight's not cared about at all, like the legacy of that film, like compared to the other ones on that list.
Oh,
like,
people look back, people still love La La Land. People still love like Hell or High Water. You talk about Hell or High Water all the time.
Hacksaw Ridge.
I've heard Hacksaw Ridge. Like, oh, you got to see Hacksaw Ridge.
I really like Fences.
Fences, great.
Arrival's really good.
Yeah, my dad told me I think a couple months ago. Is like, you got to see Arrival.
Arrival is extremely underrated.
My dad was talking to me about it a couple months ago. Arrival, great, go see it. Like,
if you guys haven't, I
haven't seen it. No,
I think I teared up in that movie. That movie has like a really great story.
Yeah, it's just like every other option, pretty much. I would have been okay with okay, this is a great movie. And it's like Moonlight. It's like,
that's the history of the Oscars. Because Star Wars didn't win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Annie Hall or something like that, or whatever that movie won. Saving Private Ryan, when everyone was like, "Oh, this is the best movie," didn't win.
What beat that out?
The Shakespeare in Love.
Shakespeare in Love?
Oh my.
And then
I heard that was the most overrated movie. I heard it somewhere. I could be wrong, but it was the most overrated movie.
Saving Private Ryan is like.
Well, and Tom Hanks didn't win for Best Actor.
Who beat him out?
The guy from his name's Roberto Benigni. He did the it's like La Vida es Bella or whatever. It's like where he was like in a concentration camp, and he like was super goofy. Like that was the whole point. Like he was trying to keep his kid happy. Like while he was. So it was like an interesting movie, but I was
Tom Hanks' role in that is iconic. Like, that movie.
I mean, everyone was like, he's gonna win. It's the same. Like, so I feel like the Oscars a lot of times will give it to.
It's an in the moment kind of thing.
Like, let's just give it to them, and then you're like, what? Like you said.
But it's a popularity. People vote on it, and it's like, so.
I just wish I was the only person dictating who won the Oscars.
No, La La Land would have won like 30 Oscars.
Swept the Oscars, won everything.
It would have been worse.
How many people are a part? Is it like over 3,000 or something?
It's a lot. But apparently...
Bunch of old white farts.
Apparently... I was listening to someone talk about how... Say you vote... You don't just pick one.
Mm-hmm.
You pick like one. This is my number 2. This is my number 3.
Right.
So like...
It's a point total, right?
Yeah, it's a point total. So if you get someone votes like Moonlight
two
consistently and then
La La Land shifts between one, like half, and then there's 4 for the rest.
So then it's
Moonlight.
Just so I'm like, they should just do it like just pick
the popular vote.
Just pick your pick for it. Just pick it, and then you just count them up. Okay.
Yeah.
1,000 people voted for Moonlight, and
see, that makes too much sense. So why would they ever do that?
Yeah, it's too hard though. It's too hard to compare those movies, like all of them. Like even this year, there were so many good movies this year.
I guess that system eliminates some of the things where it's like, oh, it's too hard to pick a single movie, right? So if you vote for multiple movies and put them in order, it's like, okay, I loved them all, but which one would I rather do?
But I feel like that takes away from you're wanting the best picture though. Like, why would you put in your second choice?
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's valid.
Yeah. It just seems weird.
Yeah.
Oh well, if only
that could have been what happened with Parasite winning this year too.
I think that's what I was listening to a podcast, and that's where she was the lady who said that I didn't know that's how they did it. She was like, that's probably what happened is it was consistently at one spot, whereas 1917
was like
was
a
probably
1,
like
4, 5,
1 or then 3 and then 1 and then 3. And so if you have Parasite consistently being 1 or 2, between people. So I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And war movies
they win Best Picture a lot.
Well,
war movies?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I think there's a lot of people that don't like war movies, like because of I think a lot of times they think that it's glorifying war, and so I think a lot of people it's the same thing with like horror movies. Like horror movies, even if they're good, they tend not to be
acknowledged
because they're like, it's a horror movie. So I think that's kind of a similar thing with war movies. Because I don't think Saving Private Ryan. Well, did Spielberg win for director on that?
I think so.
I hope so.
But so I don't know. Anyways, Oscars.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
we need
just
the
watch
Hotkeys
good
awards.
Yeah, just watch good movies. That's
watch the movies that you like, and
there was a great.
like the ones
most
you
of the
don't
Best Picture nominations this year were actually really good. Like,
yeah, it was. I thought it was it looked like a stacked year. From what I heard, it was like tons of pretty much every movie was like, okay, this is a fantastic.
Did you guys watch The Irishman?
Yeah, it was.
I
saw it long.
I saw 3 hours and I was like,
it was.
Well, that's the same thing. I'm like, maybe I'll watch The Irishman. And I'm like, it's not like people have been like freaking out about it. So I'm like, why do I? If it's kind of, I feel like most people are like, meh. So I'm like,
it's okay. It's like a 6 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Like, it's not. It's really not that great. Like,
so you like it.
So I'll watch Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker, then, right?
Yeah, I thought Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah,
Rise of Skywalker is better than The Irishman.
I
got Landon's vote.
Well, it's hard to score. Like, it's like I said, they're completely different movies. But like The Irishman, I remember watching that and I'm like, man, this is dragging.
Yeah,
like it's good.
Bad.
Like Robert De Niro's good. All the acting's good. The story's interesting. But like, it's a 3-hour movie with I mean, Robert De Niro's a good actor, but like, there's no like character development.
And Robert De Niro is about the same age as Palpatine. So
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, how there's no character development at all, and they're just a bunch.
But
of
that movie
moves.
That movie moves along at a fun clip.
yeah, when they drive around,
All right.
Okay. Landon's face was like, "Oh, Jonah, come on,
get back into it."
I'm just saying, you would if you tried to watch. Like, I mean, it was like sitting there like nodding off during it. Like,
that's bad.
Did you watch it? Did you watch it late at night too?
I don't think I did actually. I think I watched.
Dang,
I think I started. I think I started at like 5 o'clock. Like, so it was like, it's long and it's based on rounder reel stuff, but I mean, it's like you expect a little bit. I mean, like
a little bit of dramatic flair.
Well, like better from like Scorsese. Like, I mean, like The Departed's really, really good, and like that. It's just like, yeah.
I haven't seen The Departed or is there? Did he do Shutter Island?
Yeah.
Did Scorsese?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I like Shutter
so.
Island a lot. I like that one a lot.
I have to see Departed or Shutter Island.
I'd watch them both.
Departed's good.
Departed's good.
Not wearing a wire.
Is that the one with Jack Nicholson and Matt Damon?
Yeah, and Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Mark Wahlberg's so funny in that movie.
He should have won.
He did. He got nominated. Maybe got nominated.
I think he got nominated.
He should have won Best Actor for The Happening.
Either that or Transformers.
What?
I don't want to kill you.
No.
Okay,
absolutely not.
That's part.
I love that movie though.
That's possibly part of the director's fault, though. To be fair, to Marky Mark.
To be fair,
I love Shyamalan.
I do like M. Night Shyamalan as well. I think, yeah,
he gets a bad rap.
Hasn't he made like more terrible
Glass.
movies than?
Nope.
I thought. Wow, Jonah, you're defending.
I think we found our next.
What did you think of Glass?
I love Glass.
You love Glass.
I love
okay.
Glass. Did you watch it?
Like
I did.
Don't
spoil it. I thought it was pretty good.
I
wouldn't say it's my favorite of the.
No, Unbreakable's still the best.
Oh, Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Split.
Unbreakable's not even a good movie,
dude.
I actually don't like Unbreakable.
You are so bad.
Dave will side with me on this one. Unbreakable is a fine 2/3 of a movie, but there's no final act.
No.
What are you talking about?
Did you realize what the movie is
Wow.
about, right?
No.
Wow.
Landon has bad opinions.
Yeah,
he's
bad. Yeah. I'm right. You guys are wrong.
No, here's the thing. Hey, Dave, you listen up too, buddy.
Oh, now Jonah has
You
something
guys-
to say to
we
David.
watched it. Dave and I watched it with like Mick and a bunch of people. And, like afterwards, like I feel like we looked at each other and we're like,
You guys can't.
Split's good. I like.
You guys
Split.
can't worship at the altar of Tarantino and
I'm
then
not worshiping at
and
the altar
then
of Tarantino.
completely
I don't like Kill
Yes,
Bill.
you are.
I don't like Kill
and
Bill.
then completely
Oh, you don't like
miss
one single Tarantino movie.
I don't
that
like
doesn't
Kill Bill
make
Volume
you
2.
and then completely
Shut
miss
up.
Unbreakable and the whole point of what that movie was about and be like, man, the third act. There's no third act.
It's like
It's
they ran
not
out of
about
money.
that.
Like their budget ran out. They're like,
What are you talking about?
It's not about being a
It's not about
superhero
the money.
movie. It's about a husband and wife and their
there we
relationship being broken and then them reuniting. That's the whole point of that movie.
It's kind of two plots in one. You have the superhero plot, and then they kind of weaves together with the plot of the man and the wife. Simple as that.
It's the whole point.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah.
Unbreakable.
Landon, you suck.
Unbreakable, like 5.5 out of 10.
Man.
I think you should go reevaluate your life.
I'd give Split like a 7.5 or 8. Though.
No,
I thought Split was
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable's better than Split.
Unbreakable to me is a perfect movie.
awesome. Perfect 2/3.
No,
Shut
here,
up.
let me just tell you
I've only
why.
seen it once too. So.
Let me just tell you why.
That was probably on my phone. So I'm just
The
Yeah, that's
whole-
why.
If you rewatch that movie, he shoots it like a comic book. So like if you were to pause at any point in that movie, you could. It's like the pages of a comic book. Everything is shot that way. So like the opening scene where he's like the baby's being born, and he shoots it from the mirror. So he's not shooting the actors, he's shooting the mirror, and he's going from the mirror that's showing the doctor to the lady standing there. And the way it's shot is if you would pause those frames, it would be like a comic
and then
book.
like on the train when he's talking to the chick.
Oh, when he's hitting on her, he's trying to.
Yeah, it's almost like you could see a page flipping.
Right. That's the
Or
whole
going
the whole
from,
movie.
like,
or panel to panel,
Panel
kind
to panel,
of thing.
yeah.
And then but he's
Y'all
doing
nerds.
wait, no, but he's doing all
There's
that.
your problem.
This is my favorite part of the movie that a lot of people miss on. Is the whole
train
movie
crash?
Spoilers.
he gives up his football career to be with his wife, right? Because
Mhm.
she almost dies, and he knows that she doesn't like football, so he makes that decision to fake an injury, right? And then, but their relationship is being destroyed because he's not who he is. Like he's hiding the fact that he's a hero, right?
Right.
So like they're sleeping in different beds. When they have in the middle of the movie, they have this scene where they're kind of trying again, and they go out on a date, and she says, when's the first time you thought we were going to be, you knew we were going to be in, we weren't going to make it or something, or we were in trouble? And he says, I had a bad dream, and I didn't wake you up for you to let me know it was going to be okay. Right? So it's just kind of a line there, and the camera stays on them for like 3 seconds after he delivers that line, and then it moves on, right? So it's got all these stuff come in. You start seeing at the end of the movie, he finally goes to the subway, right? And he starts touching people, and he sees like the evil things they're doing, like until he sees the guy that murders the people. He goes and one of the greatest scenes in movie history is him choking the guy, and how the music swells and how that's done. And the shot of the guy standing there and the curtains are moving, and then he appears there, like the way that's all done is beautiful. And the movie after that, you think, okay, that's it. He goes home, and the next scene is she's kind of like, the way they film it is she's kind of like floating up the stairs, and he's carrying her, and he puts her in the bed, and then he lays next to her, and he says, I had a bad dream. And she like hugs him, and that's the point of the
apex
movie.
of the movie.
Like and then it goes into the reveal of who Mr. Glass is, but that's not the point. The point is that like
it's their reconnection.
Right, their reconnection, and that to me is how it's done. So it's just beautifully done.
Jonah speaks truth.
Amen.
And not only that, that's a fantastic part of the movie. When I watched it for the first time when I was younger, I was completely invested in the other part of the movie. Part in quotes because they're kind of interconnected. But his journey as a superhero, I was invested.
Right.
And even the reveal at the end, it's like, oh, you're expecting some kind of showdown. Like, what do you think this is? A Marvel movie?
Ooh.
Like,
my favorite part
what are you
Landon's
expecting?
all-time favorite
It's
comic
supposed
book.
to. It's supposed to be a superhero movie that is grounded in reality. Yeah. There is no fight for Mr. Glass and Bruce Willis to have anymore. It's
because Mr. Glass is a feeble man.
No, it's a confrontation.
That'd be so horrifying. Can you imagine just like bashes?
It's a confrontation of character rather than physical bodies.
Well, and even if we even want to go into more of the tropes of comic book movies, is like Batman and Joker. It's like they need each other, and that's what Mr. Glass is. Like the great line is that
100%.
He's like, I always knew because of the kids. They call me Mr. Glass. And he's like,
I do love the premise of the movie.
He found his purpose in like, I'm not a nobody anymore. Like what he does with colors in that movie too is like every scene with Samuel L. Jackson there's purple in it. Like that's the color, purple. Any scene with Bruce Willis is green. Like the bad guy is the guy is
even
orange.
like the comics in the comic book store
Yeah.
are backed with
the villains are purple, heroes
and
are green.
Yeah.
The stuff he does is just incredible. The soundtrack in that movie is one of the best soundtracks ever.
I like 100%.
James Newton Howard, right?
It's so
I like
good.
when Mr. Glass falls down the stairs.
Dude, I cried when I was a
that
kid.
scene is so hard to watch.
He's like,
But see, that's why I really like Glass
Mhm.
because
don't spoil. I haven't seen it.
Ah, dang.
Don't spoil.
I'll talk to you about it later.
He does the same thing.
Yeah.
He falls downstairs.
He gives you the start of the movie.
He goes.
He gives you the start of the movie where you're expecting, oh, there's going to be the showdown, and then it completely goes a different way that you're not expecting it.
Spoil you.
No, it's not.
Spoil
it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go see Unbreakable, go see Split, go see Glass. Great series.
I like Split.
But M. Night Shyamalan has done
My
way
name's
better
Hedwig.
movies than bad movies.
My name's Hedwig. I'm 6 years
So
old.
what's your most controversial M. Night Shyamalan opinion on what you think is a good movie?
you said that you didn't mind Last Airbender.
I haven't heard that movie.
See, but you haven't seen it, have you?
I
haven't
saw
seen-
it
you
and
haven't
it was awful.
Have you seen
Okay.
the original cartoons?
Yes, I have.
Okay, cool.
Josh and Crystal love those cartoons. Here's my thing with that. That
Friends of the
movie
show.
that movie
Shout
isn't
out.
as far as like an unwatchable movie, it's not. But it's not good.
It's like,
I mean,
but-
I wouldn't watch it again.
But here's
that's just me.
here's my thing with that. A lot of people complained that were fans of the cartoon about like the things he chose to do, and I'm like,
Well,
he just took
like
chances.
a complaint that I didn't care about at all, but a lot of people did was the
Yeah, 'cause
pronunciation of his name.
in the cartoons
which-
it's Aang, right?
And the reason he chose that is because that's like
That's
the
how you
accurate way
pronounce
to
it.
say it, right?
yeah, in Mandarin or whatever
Yeah.
thing. It's Ong. Is that how you'd pronounce it? So he went, well, we're gonna go with what they would actually,
Yeah.
how he would actually be named. People were like, oh, he doesn't even know the cartoon. He did the same thing with, like the firebenders,
Mm-hmm.
like how they take a longer time to
Right.
bring fire out. He's like, the reality is, if they could just bring out fire like that, they would be overpowered.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, so I wanted to make it more like you had to summon it more. So those are things that I'm like, those are just decisions. The acting in that was bad. Like
It
that
was-
was one of those things.
you think the prequels have bad acting?
But to me,
Man.
that movie is just a lot of the things that he filmed. They told him he couldn't do, so he got his movie got cut up a ton. So that's where I'm like, if you
Justice League.
If you get a director that's like makes his own like he's got his own style and he does his own thing, you got to let him do his movie. Like if you're gonna go in and like, oh, you can't do that. Oh no, we don't want that. Micromanage. Then
he seems better fit for his own original stories.
yes,
like,
absolutely.
100%.
He's not a big blockbuster guy.
And did that happen with Fantastic Four too? The new one got cut up and
Yeah, with Fan
like
Force,
dude, I've
basically
heard- yeah.
like
Well, didn't the
glued
director
together.
get like let go?
Yeah, he got
too?
canned. Yeah.
and
I never saw it, man.
I heard
I
he was
heard
talking. I heard
it was
horrible.
terrible.
I heard he was really like. Not, I shouldn't say sad, but he was like, yeah, what I wanted for the movie was completely different.
Well, he was gonna do the Boba Fett movie, and then because of that, he got canned from Disney too because
Mhm.
it was such a mess.
But it wasn't his fault because the studio was the one that.
Well,
really
they said
pushed
that he
things.
was because of that he was like drunk on set and stuff, and there was stuff like that just because he was like so angry. So I don't know what that, but that's all rumor of stuff like he
yeah.
was like he had to go into, but Shyamalan, I like all his movies really.
I need to see more of them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a ton of them. So
I think my favorite would probably be Unbreakable, and then Signs.
I need to see Signs.
Oh, I
the one-
like
that's
Sig-
the one
oh,
I want to see the
Signs.
most.
Sixth Sense is amazing too.
See, that-
It's like those are the big three for me: is
Yeah.
Signs, Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, all at the top.
I think Unbreakable, Split, and Glass. I like all three of those movies. Unbreakable probably my favorite of all his movies.
Mm-hmm.
The Sixth Sense is just really good. I just feel like Unbreakable does subtle things a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Signs is amazing. I love Signs.
See, I've had so many of these spoiled for me. Like
But see, here's
Signs got spoiled, Sixth Sense got spoiled.
Here's
like,
my problem though. A lot of people go into the Shyamalan movies trying like, what's the twist? What's the twist? And they're so focused on the twist that they're missing what he's doing in the movie. Do you like The Village?
I haven't seen The Village.
Okay, I love The Village. There's a scene in that movie that's just like you know how I say the choking scene like is one of the best scenes. There's a scene in that movie. There's a stabbing scene that is like, I'm like, that's one of the best stabbing scenes ever. Like, it's kind of weird to think like that, but it's like it's
up
just
there with 310 to Yuma.
no, but I'm saying not in the morning. I'm like not in how it's graphic and how it's filmed, and it's just done so beautifully. You guys should watch it. But people go into that and hate the twist that they say the movie's bad. But I'm like, if you're going into his movies and trying to guess the twist and trying to watch for the twist, you're missing like the great acting in it. Joaquin Phoenix is in that movie. Adrian Brody's in that movie. And they're amazing in it. Like their acting is insane. Adrian Brody plays like a person with like, he acts like a kid, like he's got mental issues, and he's just really good. And so it's one of those movies that people like hate on it, because they're like, oh, the twist is dumb. But I'm like, you're missing it.
Yeah, if you're going to a Nolan movie looking for the twist, like just enjoy the movie.
Like enjoy the ride and watch how subtle he is with the way he films things. I just think he's one of the best. I love how he films movies.
Yeah.
I think Lady in the Water is the weakest one. But I still like Lady in the Water.
So you would say like Signs and Sixth Sense still worth watching if you've had
100%.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
Plus Signs, if you spoiled for Signs, I don't know, like it's not Signs is the weakest one where it's like, oh, the big twist. There's not a big twist really. It's just how you follow, it's how you see these pieces put together. And even if you know all the pieces, the art is in what it's put together.
Well, and here's another thing too. He gets, besides The Happening with Mark Wahlberg, but I think he literally gets some of the best performances out of his actors. Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix in Signs are so good. The scene where they're having dinner.
Oh yeah.
That scene is amazing. Like just the acting in that. It's like, and it's just simple. It's so simple, but it's just beautiful. And he does that consistently in Signs, in The Village. In Lady in the Water, there's a scene with Paul Giamatti that he has a stutter through the whole movie, and he lost his wife and his daughter. I think it's his daughter, and so he's struggling with that. And there's just this scene that happens towards the end of the movie that's just absolutely beautiful. And I think one of the amazing things about M. Night Shyamalan is in every single one of his movies, I can pick out a scene that I'm like, that's one of my favorite scenes. In The Sixth Sense, you know, when he I can't say it. There's a scene with the boy and his mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're in the car.
Yes.
That scene is just like, oh, this is so good. And like everyone always focuses on the twist, but I'm like, the way that's filmed and the acting between her and the son is just so good. In every single movie, there's those scenes that he just nails. Like it hits it out of the park. And I rewatch those movies for those scenes. Like every single one of his movies has those scenes. The Happening, I don't think has that scene. But everyone else,
West Side Brenner doesn't have.
Everyone else of those movies, I'm always like, oh, that movie's worth it just for that one.
The Happening's terrible, right? Like,
Jonah will never admit it, but
I watched the Honest trailer for that, and I was like, oh man.
You can't watch Honest trailers and take.
Dude, but
you can't take Honest trailers seriously.
Dude, just the clip, like
you should.
I just like you guys quoted that one scene with Mark. He's like, "No, I don't want to kill you."
Okay,
like what?
We should. Here's the thing, though. We should watch that movie because it's still fun. Like that scene, I love that scene. Like, I don't want. Are you eyeing my lemonade? You know, like those type of things. I will say, in The Happening though. The scene where the construction workers are walking off,
creepy.
That scene is shot so well.
Yeah.
I'm just like, geez, like even in bad acting movies or stuff like that. And that movie does. Zoe Deschanel's terrible in that movie.
Yeah.
I think she might be worse than Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I'm like,
man.
but how about? But what if you switched it and had Mel Gibson and another actress that were good actors? Like I think that movie would be exponentially better.
I think so. I think the bad acting was a lot of people's issue with it.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it now.
You've never seen it?
It's worth seeing.
Never seen
I
it.
mean, if you get laughs out of it, it's worth seeing.
We should all watch it together.
Have you guys watched Devil?
No.
So that's a movie that I think he wrote, but he didn't direct. So he was gonna do like movies that he wrote but he didn't direct, like a series of them. I think he only did one. It was another director, but it's about like people in an elevator that
I've
get
heard of that
stuck
one. I've heard of
with
that
the
one.
devil, and that was like an interesting movie as well. And again, it's like he does a lot of things, writes a lot about faith, which I don't think he's not a Christian, but he's one of those people that questions, like you can tell he's questions like his
he's
faith,
thinking
like
about
what,
that
like
type of
God
stuff.
and stuff
I
like
feel
that.
that way
Yeah.
with Damon Lindelof
Yes,
too.
and so he has a lot of like signs is clear about that, like
Oh,
a man that
100%.
loses faith, and then and that's a theme in it. And Devil's kind of a similar thing. It's like about forgiveness, but it's about the devil being in an elevator and killing people that deserve to be killed. But it has this really weird. It has this theme of forgiveness, and I don't know. It's really interesting. And
It's just little things that you pick up that's like, okay,
Right.
maybe like this is some really cool things that we might agree on or
Right.
kind of stuff.
yeah, and it's a person that's questioning and having good thoughts about it, and you can pull those themes out through his stuff of like forgiveness or redemption, or
Mhm.
and I just think those are that's what I look for in movies.
You guys
And that's what I love from movies too, is the themes behind it. Even if they're themes I don't agree with,
Yeah.
like there's some really cool, like that's why I always like deeper movies with more philosophical meanings.
Right.
Why I love The Truman Show. No spoilers, but that has a really big philosophical analogy about
Mhm.
faith.
hmm
And there's
We're moving to Fiji.
You guys need to watch The Leftovers, the TV
Yeah, I
show.
haven't seen that. I heard it's really good.
That's like another one that like a big part of that show is about like faith and loss and like grief, like because
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know the premise of it, but
Well, they're on a plane, right? And is that
No,
no? That's
it's
the one.
Crash on an Island.
That's
Rips in
what's
half,
the-
something
what's
like
that
that.
one that
It's-
that's Manifest, isn't it? That's the one where they.
that's Manifest. The Leftovers is about it's kind of like a rapture like event. 2% of the Earth's population just
Oh, okay,
disappears
that's right.
without any. So it's
Mhm.
like it's enough where like everybody at least knows somebody that like disappeared, but it's not enough where like normal day life stops. And it's kind of just about these couple families that are just trying to like kind of like grapple with the consequences of what happened.
what actually happened?
It goes into
Thanos' snap.
it goes into it
Uh-huh.
like
so good.
inevitable.
Mr. Stark.
it goes into like different people are more obsessed with figuring out what actually happened and stuff, but like it's more about the actual
characters.
people like
Yeah.
trying to grapple with their own like demons and like grief behind it. So
Dang, dude.
it's
That sounds
really
like a
it's
really good show.
Good. It's really good.
I'm gonna propose something. I think what we need to do is
Should
Pick
at
up-
least get down on one knee for this.
No. we need to pick a movie. Everyone needs to pick a movie that other people haven't seen, and we should just watch them. So if you're a movie that you think is really good that other people haven't seen, and we're like, okay, one weekend or something, we'll watch that
I like
movie.
this.
Yeah,
And then
I
I
like
can
this.
be
This is
like,
a good
hey,
idea.
we'll watch The
Yes.
Village or The Majestic or something that other people haven't seen, that,
Yeah.
and then we can watch it, and then people can be like, that sucked, or we can argue about it afterwards or something.
There's this
Yeah.
movie called
There we
Star Wars that we could watch.
Rise of Skywalker.
I think it's the most controversial one. Maybe we can watch that one.
I'm trying
No,
to
that's a great idea. We should do that. There's tons of movies out there that
I'm trying to think of one that
we
you guys
could
haven't
pick
seen.
from.
That all of you guys haven't
I'm
seen.
not gonna watch.
Or I mean, it can be.
I'm not watching Midsummer. I'm sorry.
I will not be attending that party.
That movie's messed up.
I know.
I'm not seeing Hereditary either. Nope.
Aw.
Nope. A hard no.
I
hard
think
pass.
Hereditary's better. But
Both of them are. I'm like, no, thank you.
that's another one though. The themes in those movies are really good.
No.
But like you have to like
Doesn't matter.
you have to deal.
You have to like go insane
You have
first.
to deal with a lot to get them. Like
Yeah. No thanks.
yeah,
Cool. Well, yeah, we should do that. It's a good idea.
I would
I'd
be down to
probably
do that
try
and
that.
then go through a TV show together too. Like
Yeah.
That's a
I-
lot.
TV shows are way more commitment though.
Leftovers
Yeah.
is only 28 episodes.
per
Is
season.
on what
No,
is it on?
It's HBO.
Oh, okay.
I don't. I'm not sure. Some of it might be because I know Amazon gets HBO shows. Like
I wonder if we have a. Well, I guess I won't say it.
you can do a month of you can get a month of like HBO now for like free. Like if you haven't done it before, like you can get a free month.
I haven't done it before.
So-
I can get a free month.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to get HBO Max though, because the Snyder Cut's gonna come out.
Yeah. It'll happen.
What if it's like what if it's terrible? Like
It won't be terrible.
I'm just like it'd be funny if it's like
Can't
it's
be.
just incoherent.
Jonah's world is shattered.
I can tell you, there's no way it'll be terrible. If it's anything,
as Mr. Snyder told you.
if it's
It can't be
anything
worse than just the.
if it's
Justice
anything
League.
close to BVS or Man of Steel, it's gonna be amazing. Those movies are fantastic. Say what you will, you guys
Okay,
are wrong about.
I
this.
really liked Man of Steel, except
It's a great movie.
I don't like the action scenes that much.
Oh, the action scenes are great.
I get a little bored.
I like when he like breaks dude's neck in the end. That's my favorite part.
Dude, that's so. It's
Such a powerful moment.
that's the
Yeah.
whole.
I hate it.
Whole movie
I hate it when
hinges on that.
I hate it when I hear the argument that Henry Cavill's a bad actor in it.
Oh no!
because clearly there's a lot of emotion going through his mind after that happens.
My pet peeve is the people that complain about Zod's neck being broken and the Martha scene. Because
The
they
Martha
ca-
scene. The Martha
they
scene's
come-
mentally
Uh-oh.
like.
No, they
Oh,
completely
gosh. Dude,
don't.
this is supposed to be a short podcast.
They
Oh,
can-
no.
The Martha scene is
Here we
3
go.
hours.
Here we go.
They
It's
completely
a laugh out loud moment.
No, it's not. You guys missed the whole movie.
I think I might have laughed out loud in the theater.
That's one. You guys are completely missing the whole point.
I've
of the
only
movie.
seen. Okay, to be fair, I've only seen BVS once. Stop. I've only seen Batman vs Superman, the undirector's cut, once.
on directors.
Undirector's cut, because I know it's not the
Theatrical
real version. I don't know it's not the
you
real
haven't,
version.
you haven't seen Snyder's other cut.
I haven't seen Snyder's other cut. No. So it's just it was to me. I didn't like. I was just like, eh. But maybe if I watch it again, I'll give it a fair shot.
It's all about
Tricking
him.
yourself.
No, it's all
No.
about these two. It's all about him. The whole movie. Batman is obsessed with the fact that this guy is an alien. This guy he's dangerous because of the trauma that Batman's gone through, and what he went through with his parents dying. And that's been a theme for Batman. In every movie.
It's not the fact that they have the same name. It's the fact that he has a mother.
It's the fact that he
doesn't-
realizes this guy is
Batman
an alien.
doesn't
This guy's-
stop until he hears that that's his mother. That was the point.
And the fact that
It's just a coincidence that it's
and the fact
Martha.
that he's about to die and what he's thinking about is save my mother. And that's the only thing that Batman has ever wanted to do. The reason he's Batman is that he would want to go back and change his parents being killed. And in this moment, he's seeing himself as Superman. And the whole movie, he's seeing Superman as an alien, as someone that's
That's
gonna
why
destroy
they
things.
showed his
And
his origin again.
And that's why he says, why did you say that name? Because he's a damaged person. Batman's a damaged person, and that name's a trigger. And then you even see it in his face. He starts like looking around, and he's making the connections of what's been going on. That it's brilliant. But everyone always goes like, oh, Martha, they have the same name. It's like, no, he didn't stop because they had the same name. He stopped because he realized
It's not until
he's
Lois
me.
Lane actually says it's his mother's name.
No,
Right.
but doesn't he go like, "Why'd you say that name?" Like,
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, why did you say that name? And then Lois comes in, he's like, that's his mother's name. And then he's like, he's not who he...
Why'd you say that name?
I think in the moment, in the adrenaline rush moment, I think Batman would have just actually just stabbed him. Like he would have been so like
No.
enraged that he just would have killed
Dude,
him.
That's
And
not
then,
Batman.
and then after he kills him, he'd be like, "I don't know, why did he say that?" And she's like, "I was his mom." He'd be like, "Oh, what have I done?"
And you want to talk about faith themes. Batman v Superman is what they do with the comparisons with Superman and Jesus and how that's all done is brilliant. Like that is like
I'll have to watch it again.
how did
I'll give it a fair shot.
I mean, why does they even asked Zack Snyder, why would Batman build a spear, like make a spear out of kryptonite? And he's like, and all he posted was a picture of Jesus on the cross being stabbed with a spear, like, and that's how he dies. Is he with this? I mean, it's just everything that's
I don't
done
know.
is just
Like, you can like that movie. I think that movie's pretty terrible.
Yeah, but you weren't watching it. You were on your phone.
I was
having-
watching. I was in the theater. I was in the theater watching it. And I remember leaving and Mick being like, "Yeah, I was really disappointed with that movie."
I didn't like the theatrical. I've never said that I liked it. I liked the real cut.
The real cut.
The real cut.
Zack
real
Snyder's
cut.
other cut.
Then whatever you said.
The undirector's
The
cut.
under-
The undirector's cut versus the director's cut. So
I did not like the undirector's cut.
Yeah, there we go.
How much do they add in the director's cut?
They had quite a bit.
It's like half an
they
hour.
add a bit, and they move scenes around that make the story flow a little bit better.
So they're like, we gotta edit this real quick, guys, to make it a little better. Patch it up.
Patch it like cats.
Oh no.
Gosh. Okay, well, since we should like
wrap up
pretty soon, but we
Cool.
can talk about just two quick more things. Since we're on subject of Batman, they revealed the Batsuit
It's
for
dope.
Matt Reeves' Batman coming out next year. What did you guys think of it?
Really poor lighting, but I really liked it.
I wish that there
Video was
it was
a little
easier to
long.
see, but
I think
it
that
was really red, and I was like, "Oh man, this is really red."
I think they were doing that on purpose.
well, when I first saw it, I was like, "Is this like a Daredevil thing?" Like, even like the music was kind of reminiscent of the show, but I mean, pretty quickly you could obviously tell it's
Yeah,
Batman
I think he looks awesome.
because of
He's
the
got a
vest.
good Batman chin.
Yeah,
That's what's
good jawline.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that movie. Like really excited.
I think it'll be good.
Some people are saying that his the Batman symbol is, if you look at it, the parts in the middle look like guns. Like he took the handle of a gun and split it in half. So people are saying maybe that's the gun that killed his parents, and he
I
put
don't
it-
want that.
put it into
It is true to the comics, though.
Is
put
it?
it
Yeah.
into his. Which
Oh,
I think
that'd be cool.
That would be pretty sweet to be like just a reminder of.
You can't doubt something before the movie
That just
even like
sounds
comes out.
cheesy, but like, oh.
I mean, fair enough, but it's like I don't know. I think that'd be cool.
want all the cool. They got a great cast in that movie.
Yeah.
Though,
Mhm.
so it's like
Who's all the cast? So you got Edward Pattinson, right?
Edward. Team Edward Pattinson.
Robert. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Robert
Sorry.
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Colin Farrell
as a penguin,
Mhm.
right?
as the Penguin.
Jim.
Andy Serkis.
No.
Jim Carrey.
Andy Serkis is Alfred.
Which is awesome. That's a great.
Yeah.
Zoe Kravitz is
Catwoman.
Catwoman.
Jeffrey Wright is
Jeffrey Wright
Jim
is Commissioner
right?
Gordon.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
great.
Not
I
Commissioner,
like
though.
Jeffrey Wright.
And then the
Lieutenant.
Riddler is
Something.
Jonah
Uh,
Hill.
I can't remember.
Dude, I would be so down for Jonah Hill to be the Riddler.
He was in talks.
Was he? Dude,
For the
Jonah-
Penguin, right?
No, they didn't say what he was in, but he wanted to be the Riddler, and they were
I
like,
want him
no.
as Batman.
He asked for too much money.
He wanted to be he wanted a bigger part.
He asked
and
for
they were
like
"Man."
30 million or something.
Dude, I want him as Batman.
So they got what's the actor's name? He's pretty
I'm
good.
trying.
Dano.
Paul.
Dano.
He's
Dano?
creepy.
Dano?
Dude. Paul Dano's creepy, man.
But he'll be a good Riddler.
I know. No, I know. That's,
Yeah.
that's he's good for it. Like he's so creepy in that Prisoners movie with like.
I want
Hugh
to see that.
Jackman.
I haven't seen that.
Dude, he's so.
So
creepy.
I'm wondering if they're gonna have. There's been rumors of Two-Face, but they haven't.
That seems like another. That's a lot of.
That's a
people.
lot of
Well,
villains.
what they're
Spider-Man
saying is-
3 flashbacks.
What they're saying is
Yeah.
that they're trying like rumors that it's like the Long Halloween where it's a bunch of villains and he has to like find out who's behind
If you guys haven't
Like,
read that, it's
who's behind
really
it, who's the
good-
mastermind
good
behind it,
read.
and so he has to be like, it's basically a detective story where he has to figure out, and that's what Matt Reeves has said. He's like,
Ooh.
a lot of people haven't gone into the detective side of Batman in all these
Oh,
movies, so he's like,
serious?
he's gonna make it more of a detective.
like a murder
noir.
mystery.
That's dope.
That's
now
awesome.
I'm
That
really
makes-
excited
yeah,
now. I
that's
did not
awesome.
hear that. I am super excited
Yeah,
for this movie now.
so that's the
Yeah.
rumor that he's gonna do more of a
Man,
noir
now
movie.
I'm like 10 times more hyped.
Yeah, because that's the best part of the
'Cause
Telltale
it's like-
games.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
That's the best part, I think, of even some of the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Is those like, oh, who did this? Like in Arkham
Well, and that's
Origins,
such
I
a-
think.
That's
When
such
you
a
did
key
the Joker
character.
little-
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
such a key part of his character is being considered as like the world's greatest detective. Like Ra's al Ghul constantly calls him detective because of that.
right.
And in the movies, I
It's
mean,
never
it's there a
happens.
little bit, but
He's
never
just
to the
an action
extent
hero.
of what it could be.
Oh,
and
yeah.
what it should be.
And that was actually one of the early rumors is that his script was that it takes place in Arkham. So kind of like a game where he's like locked in there and he has
That
to deal
would
with.
be sick.
But
Like
I don't know if
Arkham
that's going to be
Asylum.
the case, but that was one of the early rumors. So I wonder if it's kind of what I'm excited about is that he took a long time writing the script. So a lot of people were like, "Where's the script? Where's the script?" And he took a long time writing it,
Like
like
2+
a year or
years,
something
right?
like that. And so that to me shows me that it wasn't like Warner Brothers being like, "Hey, we need something quick." They're like, "No, take your time." And so I'm like, man, he's made good movies. Like I
What?
love the Planet of the Apes movies.
oh, those are great. Yeah,
And so I'm like, I trust that he can make a good story.
When's it come out?
it's next
not
year. Right?
not till next year.
Like June of
yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which
we've
is
waited this
insane.
long already. Like, what's another year?
Well, it's crazy that they're already filming,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, it's still another year because Venom is filming right now, and it comes out in October
Yeah.
or something like that. So I'm like, that's
Batman's
Venom
gonna
too.
be better.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh
but,
yeah, I don't think.
But
there's
still,
any
I'm like,
question.
just kind of that difference of you're filming for 3 months, and then in 4 months it's out.
See, you hate on me for like hating DC. I love Batman though. Like I love the Nolan ones. I love the Arkham games.
Well, maybe you
Telltale
don't
games.
say it enough.
I love Batman. He's probably like my favorite superhero. I would say.
It's
Like,
probably the best universe of like the best universe I would say easily is
It's
like
Batman's.
the Batman's kind of little section of the DC universe.
yeah, the
I
Batman
would say.
villains are awesome.
Great villains,
Yeah.
great characters,
Right.
great story arcs, great everything.
Like I love the Arkham games, man. Like I love like all the weird villains and stuff. Like
Yeah.
the Telltale ones are great. Like,
City has a fantastic story, and I think Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight's
I think it has the
underrated.
best story. I think
Arkham
that's
Knight. Arkham
really
Knight got a bad
unpopular
rap.
opinion, but I think Arkham Knight has the best.
See,
story.
on my last playthrough of the series, I actually liked Arkham Asylum the best.
That
Which
one's
is funny
tight.
because that one was my least favorite for the longest time, but something about the contained story.
It's smaller scale.
Yeah.
I liked Arkham Knight. It was predictable to me.
Yeah.
Like when I was like, I know that the Arkham Knight is going to be
Right.
Well,
Jason Todd, especially when they started doing the thing.
Yeah.
But I think City storyline was the best.
It was great.
Um,
yeah.
Oh,
But
the
I
reveal
really,
at the end was
but I
pretty
really
cool.
like Arkham Knight, and this. What I loved about Arkham Knight is the whole thing with like the Joker popping up.
Oh, that
and
was the
like
best
you
part. That was the
turning
best
into like
part.
I thought those were really
when
good.
he
Although-
pops up the first time,
Oh, that scared me
that
so
freaked
bad.
the crap out of me.
Although the best moment in those whole games is from Arkham, the first one, where you're walking through the library or something, and it starts turning
Yeah.
into
Oh,
the
crime alley.
the crime alley.
Yeah.
Like, and
have you played Arkham Asylum?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I
good.
mean,
I've
those-
played all three of the core games. I haven't
Okay,
played Origins.
cool. Because you there's a time where you didn't play Arkham Asylum.
I
right?
just went. Yeah. So I played City and then I played Night and then I went back and played Asylum.
Okay, cool. But this is like one of the coolest. So spoilers for Arkham Asylum. Like I think we're almost done with the episode. So tune out now if you don't want to do spoilers. But Arkham Asylum, like that's one of. Go ahead. Yeah, it's
Go for
amazing.
it.
So it's basically Scarecrow is like the effect of the game is it glitches out.
Yeah.
Part of what Scarecrow. So there's two Scarecrow segments in the game. I think one of them is you look in like body bags and it's your
Yeah.
parents, and
Oh.
you as Batman go through this giant trip of like your past and what's
Right.
happening. And then that is
Well,
amazing in
and
itself.
and it starts with you thinking that Gordon has died.
yes.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh man, I gotta tell Barbara about this. How am I gonna do this? And then it goes to the whole morgue scene.
And then the second one, which is also really cool, is your game like quote unquote glitches out and it like shoots you back to the title screen. And I can't remember every single effect, but I remember like if you try to continue your game,
it has screen tear and then
blue screen, right?
blue screen, and then it goes black, and then it starts the game over. Like all the cinematics are the same, but once it goes into the Batmobile, it's Joker
Yeah.
driving the Batmobile and
during
Batman in the back, like all like crazy and stuff, and then the whole like walking scene into it is just reverse the roles.
Such a fantastic.
But up until that point, I was like, I just broke the game. I'm so pissed off right
Yeah,
now.
you're like, I just lost my save file.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those things are just really cool,
Mhm.
and that's why I don't play many video games anymore. But like anytime there's an Arkham game, I'm like, gotta get it.
There's
You gotta-
supposedly one in the works. They keep like doing
But they
dumb
keep
little
teasing
teasers,
it, and I'm like,
stupid
just
dumb-
give me a trailer for it,
Yeah.
you idiots.
They're probably. I'm just worried because it's been teased for so long.
Yeah, and it's not Rocksteady making.
It's
it.
But
Montreal.
That doesn't bother me because
Arkham
I really
Origins
liked
was pretty
Origins.
good.
I
Yeah.
really liked Origins. I play because my order of playing them I think was Origins Night. Origins was my first one, so I had no previous like expectations
Mhm.
of what an Arkham game was. I played Arkham Origins first.
I
It was
honestly
fantastic.
don't get I don't understand the hate that game got. It's the same mechanics. It's a good story.
And they added some
I
stuff
think-
that was cool. They added
Yeah.
because they were the ones that added the whole detective
Yes,
thing, right? Where you
they
piece
did.
together the crime scene.
They did some things better than
Yeah.
Rocksteady.
Yep.
I honestly think like
they implemented the like counter stuff like in the middle of a fight with like a ninja
Right.
person, and then they carried that over into Arkham Knight. Like they
and
did-
Black Mask was a good, cool villain.
yeah. I thought the voice acting was good.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
close enough.
It didn't bother me.
It's not like Troy Baker voices the Joker.
Yeah, Which is funny because he voices Batman in the Telltale games.
Yeah.
Troy Baker voices everybody.
He voices everybody.
He and Nolan
Death
North.
Stranding, Last of Us, Uncharted. Like he's in literally everything. You can find a game and it's like, oh, Troy Baker.
And then Nolan North plays Penguin in those games.
Oh wow, the Nolan North Troy Baker duo.
Yeah.
How original.
I went playing back through The Last of Us again.
Yeah.
Like I've
Such
choked
a
up.
good
I've
game.
choked up a couple times
played
playing
it.
it. Like I was playing with my little sister in my older sister's room. And I was like starting to like choke up like in a scene. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of that game is either winter or spring.
yeah. I
One of those two.
sent a clip of one of the.
Yeah,
Did
in
you
the
watch
winter.
that
I didn't watch the clip, but I know exactly
the
what
ranch
it's
scene
from.
when they're in the ranch. It's
It's
when they're up in the ranch in
winter.
No, it's during the spring. It's like when you. I don't want to.
No,
Yeah.
don't say it for Jonah. Jonah hasn't.
I'm not gonna play it.
What? Why not?
I don't have time.
I'll tell you about it later.
Like
He's
10
too busy doing
10
2-hour
years.
podcasts.
He's
with
too
us.
busy rewatching Batman vs Superman for like the 5th time.
Well, it's different. If I'm laying in bed and my wife doesn't care, we're all sitting laying there. I'm like, if I'm playing a video game, then it's kind of like, I don't know.
all right.
I get headaches too when I play video
that's
games.
true.
So then it's not like I can play for an hour. After like 30 minutes, I'm like, okay, I gotta set this down. So
That's sad.
it would take me forever.
I've played like 3 hours today.
All right. One last thing we could talk about is Stranger Things 4 released a teaser. It was pretty
Predictable.
We all knew Hopper was still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically said it in the
The
last
American.
episode.
Yeah.
I've seen maybe 3/4 of season 1, and that's
Dude, you're
it.
such a.
Why? Why?
It's so good.
They're
It's
like
so
8
good.
episodes.
I have my own reasons.
Oh, stop it.
What?
Was it that? Is it really because of that? Because you watched it with a certain person and like it's ruined?
Well, my gosh.
It's just like
She's removed from your life.
Take
She's a
your shoes
terrible
off,
person.
boys, because this podcast is going for 3 hours.
well, it's just like
You didn't let her
I've
ruin
never
La La
come-
Land, right?
No. Okay. I don't want to talk about this. Can we bleep this out or something?
No, everything stays.
Yeah.
We won't name any names.
Bleep it out. She's a bad person. Everybody hates.
Wait. So
Okay, hold on.
so because you watched it with her, now you can't finish it.
Well, it's
Don't
just that
let her steal your joy.
Okay.
You're
She's
missing out on a
she's the
great
one that
TV
introduced
series.
me to the series, and it was like,
Hey,
it's,
a broken
it's
clock's
hard
right twice
to-
a day. You know what I'm saying?
It's just hard to continue. I don't know. It's just weird.
I'll say
sorry.
this.
Samwise is in season 2,
Oh.
so that's something to look forward
I'll say
to.
this.
Oh.
I kept watching X-Files.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Mm.
Didn't let that stop me.
Maybe I'll
Wait,
take
who
a page from
introduced
your
you? Who
book.
introduced you to X Files?
So are we done?
Landon, who introduced? What is a show you don't watch because
nothing.
someone introduced
Nothing.
you to it?
I've had nobody ruin
He's
anything.
like, that's actually why I don't like BBS.
Dave introduced me to it.
And then he got married and left me. And that's why I don't like Deadpool because I went and watched it with Jesse. Now he's gone too.
That's actually why I don't like Deadpool either.
didn't you see a different movie with Jesse? You saw Sausage
I went
Party.
to Sausage Party. Just
Oh
me,
my
just,
gosh.
just me and Jesse. I picked him up from his parents' house.
Dude,
and we
so
drove-
So it was a real
How
sausage
romantic.
Dude, I remember like at the end during like the food orgy, like Jesse literally like curled up into a ball on his seat and
Oh
was just
my
like rocking
gosh.
back and forth. And I was
I've
like,
never seen that movie.
It's a terrible film. It's a
I've
terrible
heard
film.
it's terrible.
Oh, it's
Like,
horrible.
It's
The first 15 minutes are actually pretty funny, and then it just is like, oh gosh, like, this is horrible. I was so disappointed. I was so excited for that movie. I'm like, this looks
Why?
it looked so funny for
It
the
looks
trailers.
so
like,
back in the
stupid.
day. Landon was a little excited for edgy things.
So is the title of this episode going to be called "Our Exes Ruined TV Shows"?
Yeah.
let's just put-
Is there anything that was ruined for you for an ex, Jonah?
Don't think so.
Don't think so. You brave soul.
I don't have any exes, guys. What are you
What?
talking about?
I've met like 7 of them.
Does Melissa hear the podcast at all?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So you do have exes then.
What? No, I don't think so because neither of them were really into movies and stuff. So
Ooh,
like,
guys sucked, so they were terrible people.
so it would be like I would be the one to introduce them to stuff. But
Yeah.
as far as movies go, But I can see that because there's certain things that you're like, oh, I remember that, and or go places. It's like if I go places, I'll remember things. But that's just, I mean, that's part of life. You just move on with it.
For sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, a TV show is a TV show. You know, it's not like a gift given to you by.
I know, but it's like memories of association, right? Like,
yeah, but I think you can move on from it.
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
I used to eat fast food all the time with my exes. Did that stop me?
No.
Fast food every day.
Overcome.
Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Exactly.
Let the past die.
Kill it.
But yeah, you should watch Stranger Things. Just it's great.
All right, I'll go through it.
Yeah, and the fact that the seasons are like pretty short,
there's 8 episodes, right?
It's an easy watch through.
No commitment.
Just have tissues if you want to start crying.
Yeah.
Well, the season 3, I kind of choked up a little bit.
Yeah. The second season, does Sam carry somebody to victory?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, yeah,
because he can't carry
the Demigorgon.
But I can't carry you. Come on.
Yeah, definitely watch it.
Yeah,
it's good.
And one thing you can always enjoy is Hopper. You know who Hopper is, right?
Oh yeah, I love Hopper.
That's Randy.
He looks like my dad.
He looks like Randy. Every time we're watching it, Mitty's always like, "Oh my gosh, that's Randy." I'm like, I know.
I keep telling my dad to
start smoking.
Yes, thank you.
He should just be like smoking all the time and be like, "Hey, Hopper,
join the force and put some cigarettes in your mouth." Crying out loud.
He's got to get a sheriff outfit.
He should. That'd be a perfect Halloween.
Perfect Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Because your family's done Halloween before a lot, like super Halloween, right, Michael? David used to dress up a lot.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty normal.
My family,
I don't know,
for a long time.
My family was against it. One time when I was working at the church, you know, they used to do hooray candy. One time I was helping, and so I had a Grinch onesie, so I went dressed up as a Grinch, right? And so I'm leaving the house, and my dad's coming home, and my parents are so anti Halloween.
Well, they hate the devil.
My dad almost started crying. Like, he came in and he looks at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going to Hooray Candy." He's like, "Why?" And he's like, all we taught you better. And I was like, and so I left. And then I came home. My mom was like in the living room, like really sad. And I was like, "What's going on?" And my dad was up in his room with the door closed. I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Dad just really, really disappointed." And really sad. I'm like, "What? I'm dressed up as in a Grinch onesie."
What? How old were you?
Satan, I give you my soul, Grinch slippers.
How old were you here?
I can't remember. I was in college.
You were probably like 22 or
I
something.
was I was already working at the church.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
Well, your dad's very traditional.
Yeah, they don't like Christmas trees. They don't like we never celebrated Christmas. We celebrated Hanukkah.
What? That's not true.
Is it what?
You can't celebrate.
Wait, hold on.
Is that Jewish?
Yes.
Is Hanukkah Jewish?
Yeah, but supposedly we're Jewish.
What?
So in our ancestry,
that's cultural appropriation.
Wait. We wouldn't celebrate it. We wouldn't light the menorah or anything. But my dad would call it we'd give gifts and we'd be like, "Oh, it's Hanukkah," instead of, because they didn't want to say Christmas, and we wouldn't have a Christmas tree. So it was just, and Halloween was again, we went to
the devil.
Halloween.
What about Thanksgiving? You guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
that's
cool.
being thankful, son.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
How about
there's
Easter?
no line here
Easter
anymore.
egg hunting though? They do that?
No,
Okay,
no Easter bunny.
It was all about Jesus' resurrection, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We put that bunny, crucify that bunny.
Yeah.
Bunny doesn't wake up in 3 days.
Yeah, that bunny's not coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just
That's so
that
funny.
was just so funny. He was so disappointed.
Especially with how old you were,
It's like you're a 22-year-old who can make your own choices.
I'm it's not like it came with a
You're
piercing
older
in my
than
nose
me.
or anything like that, or a tattoo on my face.
Yeah, you're literally just walking out like a onesie.
Yeah, walking with a onesie, and I had soccer shorts on them.
So is it the fact that
you couldn't see anything?
Is it the fact that you were dressed up, or that you were going to some
It's the
Halloween
fact that on
thing?
Halloween
I was
dressed up, and I was good. It was like.
But you were going to a church event.
I know, but still, my parents were never even that was why would a church promote
Right.
Like Halloween.
That's how my family used to be. They're like, oh, the harvest party. They're like, that's just another name.
Halloween's the
What are you harvesting souls for the Satan man?
the Satan man.
I think my family did 1 year without a Christmas tree, and then they were like, we went back to Christmas trees. That was a little too far for even my parents. Or my mom, I should say, probably.
Wow.
Your dad's just like, okay, dear.
Dude, my mom went through a phase where like she's like, microwaves are evil. She took the microwave. I can't like, or it was like they were unhealthy. Like she took all the microwaves away. I was like,
Yeah, well, the radiation would give you cancer. Or
something like that. Yeah.
I mean, it could.
But
I
you know, at
think
the end of the
anything can give
day,
you cancer.
yeah. I don't think
Your
you're
cell phone probably does.
carrying in your pocket.
Yeah.
Doing a podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably get out of here.
Let's
No,
not
my
get
wife-
cancer.
My wife keeps texting me. Where are you?
Uh-oh.
Not, that's not her voice, her real voice.
What is it then? I'm just waiting for something worse.
Anything Jonah tries is like a negative.
¿Dónde estás? No, that
doesn't sound anything like her.
Whoa, is Melissa here? Wow. It's crazy. Yeah, we'll have to have her like call in sometime.
And just talking Spanish.
Yep. Yeah. We need to get more
More diversity on this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
A bunch of white.
that's the only reason why
that's
you're here. I mean,
yeah.
What? I'm not white? Disappointment.
Yeah, we're all disappointed.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
I'm good.
I am
We're
totally
good.
fine.
Okay, me too. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for joining us. You guys can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, CastBox, YouTube, and other podcasting platforms. Visit our website at www.hotkeyspodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at Hotkeys Podcast and join our Facebook group at HK Hotkeys. Please like, review us, and subscribe on whichever platforms you use. And you can also contact us at the email address hosts@hotkeyspodcast.com. Bye.
Farewell.
Bye.